most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk. Let's start off. Graham W. Vebke asks, "Do you like Western or spaghetti Western movies?"
I do. I do.
I don't understand what the difference is.
There's a big difference. Do you know why they're referred to as spaghetti westerns?
They have Italian directors, right?
More than that, they're mostly made in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Because it was cheap, and they would make a lot of stuff over there. And so all your spaghetti westerns have a different flair. It's just a lot like European platformers versus American platformers. They had a different take on the whole western theme, and so what you got out of this was some unusual music, some unusual casting, and some very interesting plots and whatnot for these films. I don't know how many of the old Clint Eastwood movies you've seen.
They seem violent.
Well, I mean, compared to today's films, are you kidding me? But like, I love like Pale Rider and
Clint Eastwood did a lot. He played like soldiers and cowboys. He did all the tough guy roles.
Yeah,
right?
he was in he was in, what was the old TV show he was in? Gosh, I know the theme. Rawhide. He was in
Really?
that. Yeah. I think he played Rowdy Yates. I think was his name in that. But there was a lot of good spaghetti westerns. The westerns where you see him kind of wearing those ponchos, and he's that thin, tall guy with the cigarette, and he's looking all, and he wore the long coats. The cowboys didn't dress the same as American cowboys, where I think traditionally the cowboys in America were just your cowpoke types. They had the vests and the chaps, and they had the white dark hats.
So the poncho is a mark of a spaghetti western.
Well, it's not. I mean, they had ponchos, but I'm saying if you look at the look of them, there's a different style to what, and a different vibe to what you
like,
get.
Fistful of Dollars, is that spaghetti western?
Yes.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
So it's basically all the '70s ones.
And then you've got the soundtracks, which are were off the charts. I wish I could remember that fellow's name that did the soundtrack for the good, bad, and the ugly. He did a lot of them. Leone or something like that. He was a tremendous musical guy. I like both. I mean, I grew up watching The Lone Ranger and The Cisco Kid and Zorro. I used to watch those because you got to remember, I came in at the cusp of the cowboy thing, where the cowboy movie was and the show were still viable, but it was fading. And so I love the Wild Wild West, which was a sort of a James Bond meets the Wild West, which I love. I love that show. It's one of my all-time favorite shows, just because it was so well done.
Did the guy that was in it just pass away recently?
He did. He did.
What was his name?
His name was Robert. God, you're putting me in the spot here. My brain's tapioca today. It'll come to me. But it was a great show. Him and his partner, it was James West and Artemis Gordon, and there was such a tremendous, fun show. It was well acted. Lots of great character actors would come through there.
Was Charles Nelson Riley on that show?
I don't think so. Although he was great in the X-Files that he was on. Remember that one?
No. Who did he play as?
It was called Jose. God, what was it? Flying something. I can't remember the name of the episode. He played a reporter or a book. He played an author that was writing a book and getting all these stories from these different people, and each one of them told a different tale about these various weird occurrences in the X-Files. It was funny. It was a real funny episode. Then, unfortunately, they killed him off later down the line because that's what they do. But yeah, westerns I'm down with. I like the. I'm okay with the John Wayne stuff. I watch some of that. I like the modern westerns. I like that stuff. So I'm cool with pretty much any western. I like weird westerns. I like normal westerns. I'm down with all of them.
I don't know that I've seen. I watched. I think I watched Tombstone on a band trip.
Yeah,
time.
That's a good one. I'll tell you one that no one seems to like but me. It had Sharon Stone in it. It was called The Quick and the Dead. Gene Hackman was the star of it, and it was about this town that had this gunfight competition, and the guy that ran the town was also the fastest gun. He was a jerk. It was Gene Hackman's character, and Sharon Stone came in it to come to town to get revenge for him killing her parents. It was a great flick. It was directed by the same guy that did Spider-Man and the Army of Darkness, Evil Dead movies, Sam Raimi, and I really enjoyed that one. But a lot of people didn't dig the whole chick.
Sharon Stone lead.
And she was fine in it. She was totally fine. But I'd give that one a whirl if you want to watch something that's a little off center.
Okay.
You know, but not super duper violent.
I think we should move to the shade.
Well, yeah.
Let's just turn. We can turn our whole operation very easily. Just come on over.
Just gonna shoot the rear end of my house.
Yeah.
Making me walk now after I've been sitting here. Probably just set it right. We could have actually sat on the porch if we wanted to.
Yeah. Actually, let's just move it on back. Oh man. Now we're really rolling. Sitting on the back porch.
I set this thing up and the sun's going the wrong way. I set it up the other day.
All right.
There we go.
Perfect. Can you guys hear us okay? I guess so, because nobody's complaining. Oh, and I just made the chat disappear. So
Okay.
we'll never know.
I like the
Oh
I like the fact there's still a tree line here.
Yeah.
It makes me feel less like I'm smashed into an urban terror maze. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would put this house far away from an urban terror
Well, I'm
maze.
very fortunate that I've got some space.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I went to Iaido today.
Oh yeah.
Brave the dojo.
Uh-huh.
Same as yours.
How many people was at yours?
Full class.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It wasn't the same as mine.
Well, but as far as the mask wearing,
Yeah.
one guy, an older fellow, wearing a mask. Nobody else.
Took Luke to class this morning. 2 senseis, 1 Luke. That was it.
Really?
That's all that showed up.
Private lesson.
Yeah. Well, that's great, except for the fact that these guys have to pay rent in the building.
You know,
And so they're taking it on the chin.
it's funny. Hanshi Jarrett was talking about. He does. One of his guys does a BJJ thing down in Florida.
Yeah.
And he said they actually bought dummies to practice throwing. Have you heard about dojos doing this?
We've got one.
Okay.
Yeah. We've
Okay.
got one of those.
Of course, the dummy probably has to be of a certain size for it to be effective.
Yeah, it's a big dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
It's a man
when you're a small dude, it's not really.
Nah, that's
It's not going to work. Yeah.
I was sad though, and I don't even go in the dojo anymore because
Right.
I just sit in the car
Mhm.
for one boring hour. I usually look at Discord, and
Yeah.
screw around, and but I sat there and we watch people come in, and it's just I'm just like, yeah, we got problems. And like I was talking to Sensei this morning, he came up to the car. I said, this is usually the slow season for the dojo anyway, and so you've got a combination of people that are afraid to come back. Understandably, you got people that don't usually come this time of year, and then you've got people that just got but lazy or indifferent towards it and on the time off and just got out of the habit and they're not coming back.
Right.
And any way that goes, it means there's no one in the dojo, and I'm desperately concerned that I know the dojo that he used to go to was out of business. They tanked out during the unpleasantness. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to more pleasant topics, shall we? This one also comes in from Graham.
All right.
If you could own a classic car, which one would you choose?
Previously I've answered something similar to, I'd just say the old 1960s Batmobile. I always loved that thing. However, just to be different, I'm going to go ahead and answer that one. I'll ponder it for a minute.
I'd like to have an old classic convertible, either like an old Shelby Cobra, the one that killed the one dude, or like a 70s Carmen Ghia, Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. I'd like a 2-seater sports car, old 2-seater sports car.
I almost had a Carmen Ghia when I was younger.
You never told me this.
In fact, the people before we lived here, people right across the street here had a Carmen Ghia. It was red.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd see it all the time. It was in real good shape too. And Dad made them an offer on it, and it was a done deal. And I don't remember what screwed it up. Something happened. I don't remember if they wrecked
Fell through
it
somehow.
or it broke. Something happened, so it didn't happen. I came in ace having one. They're really neat looking cars.
They are. They're very unique. And
if I had my druthers, I've talked about this before. My old boss used to import Jaguars all the time.
Yeah,
And
man.
those are some good-looking cars.
They are. I almost bought one.
But he had this silver, I think it was a silver Phantom touring car.
Wow.
It was British, it was from the 60s, you know, and it looked like the kind of thing that you'd pull up to a movie premiere in. I wouldn't mind having something like that, but if I had my druthers, I'm going to be more optimistic, more realistic. I'd like to have one of these 70s ultra huge pimpmobile type, like Cadillacs.
A boat of cars.
That's right, a
Yeah.
boat of car. With the one with the trunk you could camp out in, and the hood that takes 6 guys to lift.
Yep.
So that's what, because I mean, they sound cool. People like Big Head used to have one similar, and I was like, man, I think he had a Thunderbird or one of the birds.
One of the birds.
And this thing was a moose. And I thought to myself, my God, this is comfort. You get in that thing, and you've got those nice springy couch-like seats, you know, and everyone has. You got leg room, arm room to stick another couple people right in the floorboard. You got everything room. I like that. I like a big spacious car. I don't like being tucked in anything.
I'm sort of the same way. One of the things that in my mind, having a little cute, you know, 2-seater sports coupe would be cool. Until you get in it, you realize it's probably not the most comfortable thing you've ever been in your life.
Hose used to have one of those little tiny sports cars. This is Hose, mind you. And I remember asking him, I was like, because he got rid of it. He's like, Hose. I was like, Hose, why'd you get rid of your little green sports car? He's like, listen. He's like, what am I gonna do with this thing? And I was like, I mean, I don't know if he can even get in this thing, because I mean, you have to. His wife can get this. She's tiny, but Hose, he's a big oaf. He could get in this thing.
Now, if you could choose any car, just a normal car to have on the market today, what would you choose? Have you been pleased with the Jeep as a brand? Would you go Jeep again?
No, I'm not that pleased with a Jeep. The tires wear out too fast. The window situation irritates me with the power windows breaking like the second I got it. The gas mileage is okay. It's nice to have the 4-wheel drive, but you know, it's not my. I don't think it's that great. It's okay. I would probably get something like a DeLorean or something. I think when they start remaking those, I'd get one of those. Or just to be different, because everyone talks about how great they are, it'd be fun just to tour around in a Tesla and mess around.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily support the corporation or even care about that sort of thing, but it's super duper computerized, and I also don't like the fact that they can literally hose you on used parts and stuff. That really pisses me off. So on second thought, scratch that. I don't want one.
that sounds like a nightmare situation for you.
I talked myself out of it. Tesla's like, you know how they do it with the farmers and these tractors? It's like everything you have to take back to manufacture. You know, that's garbage. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm against it.
I would go with the Lincoln just released a new town car. The new Lincoln Town Cars, about 27 feet long.
Yeah.
Ultra spacious, ultra plush. I'd love to have one of those. I'd also get a driver to drive me around.
You know, we were watching. I was watching Mystery Science Theater shorts last night. You know, the little things they put in front of movies.
Yeah, I like those.
And they had one of there was Dream Cars of Tomorrow. Right, this is from the 50s, and they had this car that was shaped like if you took an airplane, you should cut off the wings. That was the car. Big weird bubble top, and it had a vertical and horizontal fins on the back. I mean, this thing was like, it looked like something Homer would have came up with an episode. I'll tell you, I think I'd pick that car, because that's a 1 in a million car. If that thing's still around, there's no one's got a vertical fin on the back of their car driving around. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. All right. Do you think that music on vinyl sounds better than CD or digital?
Do I think that? This is probably more of a question for you, but I'll just jump in real quick and say I don't know, because I doubt it. I mean, listen, I remember when CDs came out, and because we'd had tapes, you know, and I'd been off albums for quite a while at that point. My albums all sounded like crap because I'd listened to them a million times, and they were all, you know, beat, and my record player was, you know, junky. So I would go with no, but I will caveat that with, if I had a bunch of cash and I could afford like the tippity top album rig for vinyl, something tells me that the vinyl, just by sheer nature of how the sound's recorded, probably at optimum moments would sound better than CD. But that's just my best scientific guess. What about you?
I actually surprisingly agree with you 100%. I was real big into record collecting for a long time. Had a huge record collection. And the thing is you know, these are the lies we tell ourselves as record collectors. And this also applies to the retro game scene as well, where it's like, I really just enjoy taking the record out of the sleeve and placing it on the turntable.
The visceral feel of the
right,
vinyl.
right.
Yeah.
It's the same people that say, "Oh yeah, I just love listening to those loading sounds," you know, and it's real hardware. I can tell it's different.
Yeah.
And so, but the problem is that if you have a record collection of any value whatsoever, you are so afraid to take those things out of, because you're taking it out of the sleeve. First of all, you don't want to crack the sleeve, those cardboard sleeves, you know. You got to make sure you got the Mylar protection on them.
Yeah.
You take it out of the Japanese rice paper third-party sleeve that you paid $5 a piece for, special order from Japan with the obi strip. And you put it on the turntable, and then a whole new set of nightmare scenarios occurs when you try and place the arm, you know, in the right place, and you lower it down. You say, "I hope I've got the weight right," because you got to adjust the weight on the tone arm and stuff.
Oh God.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And finally, I didn't enjoy listening to the music anymore, because half the time I was just afraid of hurting the records. And so if you've got a ultimate setup and you have a steady hand, I'm sure that it sounds better, and I'm sure the tens of thousands of dollars. But you know what? I go out in my garage sometimes, and I've got this old GE radio, AM/FM radio. That's all it does. And I turn it to Rock 105, and I get the lead out at 7 o'clock, and it sounds pretty darn good.
You know, it's funny. I've got two something to listen. Let's take our time here, so I'm going to get into something.
Yeah, man.
So, first of all, I think for the most part, digital versions of old analog things are probably better most of the time. Now, I will say that the one exception in the rule comes out, and it's comic books. You cannot replicate the joy of owning comics by having digital comics. Also, cards, same thing. I keep seeing these things come across on YouTube and stuff where they're trying to get you to buy these digital cards. I know it's Disney cards. We watch a lot of these Disney shows where it's like old rides that went away and stuff like that.
Right, Defunct Land.
Defunct Lands, yeah, that sort of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And we get all these ads for these cards. It's like you can collect all these beautiful. They've got scenes from the film. You know, like as well as I do. Someone's up there scanning these cards, so I need to see them bad enough. Same thing with the comic books. I'm not buying a digital comic book, so I want to own the actual comic. Now, if I just want to read the comic, that's fine. But no one I know would do that.
I'm glad you brought this up, because I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, like the Action Comics one, I guess, is Superman. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then DC number whatever is the Batman. These are all, you know, obviously very, very valuable comics, but these things never get like why can't you go into a store and just buy like episode or issues 1 through 50 of Superman?
You
like,
can.
I've never seen that before.
You can. It's the graphic novels, they're compilations. Yeah, you can do it, especially the big titles.
You can get full runs like that.
Well, I don't know if you wouldn't get 1 through 50.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying 1 through 50.
You have a stack of books.
But like, can you get like 1 through 5? I've never seen them that old.
Yeah, you can. You know? Oh yeah, especially Batman, Superman. Oh yeah, in fact, your bud Hatch had lent me some of these things, and he's got to pray some.
Now, is this different for you when you're reading through these compilations versus holding the individual books?
I don't like the compilations as much, and for a couple of reasons. One is I don't like the heft of them. You know, now let me preface this. It's funny. This isn't even a sidebar. Sorry, Chuck. I was going to get out, but while we're here, if I had an Action Comics #1, I would never open it or touch it because of the incredible rarity of it.
Right.
Okay.
Every fingerprint deducts $10,000.
Now that said, I have what I consider a pretty valuable collection of comics. Okay. I've got a full run of X-Men from 100 to Volume 3, and I've got about 50 of them under 100. Okay. I've got same thing with Avengers. I've got a full run up to Volume 3. Plus, I've got probably about 70 under 100. Okay. So those are pretty top dollar comics, plus some other stuff, scattered stuff. And I've read every one of them multiple times. I had them out. I remember taking them to work and reading them at lunch. I used to read the crap out of them, knowing even then that they were pretty rare. I didn't care. Right? They're reader comics. I'm never going to sell these things for huge money. They're still worth something. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I smeared jam all over or something. But I'm not going to sit there and have boxes and boxes and boxes that I don't touch. I put them in Mylar bags. I back them. But I mean, I'm still going to read them when I want to read them.
Is there a value where you would cross the line and say, okay, I can't read this?
There is, and the value would be. I'm going to turn my ringer off to get my call. I would say probably. Well, I mean, I've got some pretty valuable books, so I don't know what the value.
I mean, $500, $1,000.
maybe $10,000.
Okay,
you know,
so
something
anything
like that.
below that, you wouldn't have trouble just cracking it open and reading it.
Comics were one of the early adapters of this gimmick where they take your comic, you send it off to get it graded, and they seal it in this gimmick. I know
The
they've
old
got
slab.
they've got it for photos, they've got it for cards, they've got it for records, they've got
Right.
it for like, video games done. All right, I will never send anything to those people for two reasons. One, I'm too cheap, and two, I'm not going to have my crap sealed in an envelope that I can't ever touch. Even if I owned Action Comics #1, I may occasionally want to stick my finger down in there just and be like, woo!
Right, yeah.
You know?
Just feel that paper.
And I know me, and I'd send this thing off to get it graded, and I don't care what the grade would be, poor, fair, whatever. I'd get this thing at the house, and it would sit there and taunt me. It'd be like sealed. You know, like I've got you've seen in my family room here, I've got a ton of valuable books on the wall.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
And they've been up there for a good while. I haven't fooled with them, all right? And I haven't really thought about fooling with them. But if they were sealed, that'd be a whole different story.
Right.
You know? Now, I want to get back to what we were talking about a minute ago about vinyl versus, digital and analog. I was doing some work on that CoinOps front end I've been telling you about and gave you a go at that CoinOps Next. And I put a bunch of Amstrad stuff on there, and I was playing Amstrad Donkey Kong. I even made a comment. It was really good, by the way, tremendous. I was stunned. And I got to thinking about, I like, man, look at this setup I've got here. I've got access to 10,000 games. They're good to go. They're all set up. They work with one joystick. You know, and I thought to myself, why in God's name did I ever collect all these consoles? And then the other part of my brain synopsis fired up. Like, well, it's cool to have the console. You got them sitting in there. You can play all the stuff. You got the multi-cards. And I know there are two schools of thought on this because I watch a lot of YouTube videos where people go over how to properly get the best video out of these things, which sticks to how to properly clean these things, proper collection of cartridges and stuff. Now, I don't know about you, but we haven't talked about this a whole lot. You know, consoles versus the emulation. But I don't know if I ever made myself abundantly clear. I don't have any problem with emulation. I'll emulate 10 times out of 10 almost. But I don't think that makes it so you shouldn't or can't buy the real thing. It's kind of neat to have it around. It's cool looking. You've got it to play with it. We play with about, we occasionally break some of our stuff out. But when it comes to the minor differences, and there, some are more minor than some are more major. I don't have any problem in sacrificing those for convenience.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it's fun to play on original hardware when you feel like playing multiple games on the same system and you set aside sort of a block of time.
So like with the Intellivision.
Right. However, apart from that, I'm going to go with emulation almost all the time, just because the amount of steps that it takes to get, because I don't have all my stuff on, for one thing, I don't have all my stuff set up and ready to go at the push of a button. For another thing, my mind shifts so quickly that I'll be playing, say, like, I don't know, Sailor Man, and I'll be like, boy, I wonder what the Amstrad CPC version of Popeye looks like, and I want to see right away, and so I can back out and get into that and go right in.
Yeah, we even people in our Discord have talked about how they don't like emulation, they don't like multi-cards, or even having, if they do have a multi-card, having more than a few things on their multi-card because they're afraid it's going to rob them of their attention, and they will concentrate more on these 3 or 4 games. That's something else I don't do. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but I don't do it. I've always been a hyperactive. I was one of the early adopters of emulation. Way back before anyone knew what it was. I'm not saying I'm King Dongs. I'm just saying I'm old. I was there when they were doing it, and I was in. And I don't know if it changed me or if I was always like this, but I flip around constantly. Okay, constantly, not just from different. It used to be just between arcade games, but now it's between systems.
Right.
Okay, and I like that. I like having the ability, the convenience to do it, which is what I always look for. And you know this, we've talked about it. I don't even care how flashy something is. I want convenience. Now, go. I don't have time to fool around because my time is precious. You know, when I get to play this stuff.
Right. And here's another thing that sort of has won me over. I started out definitely more on the real hardware side, and as we've moved through doing all these different shows, I've moved closer and closer to the emulation side. And a big part of that is originally I was like, when I play this thing, I want to play it on the original controllers. Yeah. Well, it turns out I hate most of the original controllers, and I like a good D-pad. and I like the 360 stick, you know, for analog stuff. And if you're playing on original hardware with, you know, a Super Nintendo controller,
yeah.
I mean, at what point is it? And of course,
and that's a good controller. That's you're using one of the good examples.
Right.
You know,
so under limited circumstances, I still like to use the real hardware. I love having the real hardware. I just like looking at it. I think it looks cool. But if I'm sitting at home playing something, chances are I'm going to fire it up on you.
And we do use our real stuff.
Yeah,
we've used it quite a bit. And sometimes we don't have a choice. But I look at it from you know, I was talking about getting a lot of streaming going. Ironically, as we stream. The setup I've got now, I can turn on, fire up, without me having to get out of my chair, and bam, I'm streaming up the rainbow of games. Before, God bless the people that have helped us out on trying to get good scans and outputs on all these computers and machines. And I've got to the point now where I can get a pretty good kick out on the Amiga and my Coco and the Atari and all that stuff. We've got it rigged up.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, something can always go wrong. It's a hassle, and the more of a hassle it is, the more time it takes, the less like you are to do it.
Right.
Where I find myself more raring to go now that I've got everything at my fingertips.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know what that means. But it was on my mind.
Well, thank you, Graham, for that question. I'm gonna check the stream here.
We really strayed away from the cars, and now
it's really weird not being able to. Let's see if I can pop the. Oh yeah, there it is. Show chat. There we go.
I should just get this up on my phone, but it'll be a lot easier on both of us.
Oh, Duncan says we're sitting the wrong way around. Because we're sitting opposite of the way that we normally sit.
Put us on mirrors, Duncan. We can.
Okay.
I won't be bound by my siding.
Here we go. This one you should be able to answer.
All right.
Being in the family way. My kids spend way too much time on Roblox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you recall if there were any games of a similar theme, style, genre when we were all younger for the Amiga or other systems?
Who's this from?
This is from Grant.
My kid loves Roblox. He plays the crap out of it. We should get our kids together on there, by the way. He plays it, and he wants me to play it. And most of the games in there are crap. I mean, they're not fun for me, but they're great for kids.
Roblox is like a collection of mini games, right?
It's sort of an engine to create all these crazy games. I won't say mini games, but often some of them are specifically made to separate boy or girl from money.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the men from the boys.
Because it's the usual crap. You can buy costume pieces and upgrades and blah, blah, blah. Were there equivalents of this when I was a kid? No. Not like this. And the reason is, you're talking about, I mean, effectively a worldwide free platform with an infinite amount of games. I mean, these games, there's new ones every day. There's hundreds and thousands of these games. So it's a very clever setup, by the way. If you're into, I mean, I don't like the games that I've played in it. There's a couple I think are clever, but they're not that good to me. But, you know, I'm not a little kid. My kid loves them.
Right.
So I can't think of anything, Graham, that even comes close. I mean, of course, I'm an older guy. This would be more in your wheelhouse, but were there video games when you were a kid that you were obsessed with to the point where you play them 24/7?
No. I mean, there was nothing. The fact that, you know, it all has to do with the fact that you are online with other real people interacting in real time.
Yeah.
If that would have been around when I was a kid, I would have lived there 24/7. I'm
know,
glad it wasn't.
You know, in all honesty, as we say this, and again, I understand the irony here, streaming is sort of almost like a drug, or being connected. I maybe said, like I could say, like streaming to me is sort of like I could easily, if I didn't have a job, if I was still up in the mountain where I just worked that little pitiful job, came home, I'd stream all night, every night, and people could just show up or they couldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't even care,
right?
Because it's just there's something about getting that instant feedback that's fun. Plus, it's an excuse just to screw around.
Yeah,
you know. And so I think that streaming is sort of the adult candy for that stuff, and not just streaming, but whatever connected game of your choice is. For us, like I don't really play a whole lot of. I mean, I don't play really a whole lot of games that are connected on the internet that I play like obsessively. I play it once a week, and it's only with my friends.
Right.
So there's no one else there. It's a closed server. So, yeah, back in the day when I was playing EQ and stuff, a little bit different. And you probably have never gotten into that stuff that much, have you?
No, I mean, when I was in Korea, I had a brief fling with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I played that.
even then, I could tell that there were two strata of people. There were the people that jumped on, that were just running around, having fun, doing what they wanted to do, and the other group that hated those people, that were like, if you're not on at 8 o'clock to raid with our guild tonight, it's over.
Lifers.
Yeah.
And really, a normal functioning adult can't do that.
Right.
Unless under very unusual circumstances.
Right. And so, but yeah. So, good question, Graham. Good questions. Mitsuyama asks, is there a game that you are desperate to own? Perhaps one that you're constantly searching eBay and the hillbilly flea market for?
I really wanted, let me think here. Go ahead. Do you have one on top of your head? Because you're a collector of some more like things that you might find at the flea market. Like most of the stuff I'm looking for is like, if I'm looking for anything like a Holy Grail stuff, it's like Vectrex carts and stuff like that. Real bizarre stuff you're never gonna find.
Yeah, I mean most of the stuff that I want, I've got.
Yeah.
eBay has made the whole thing so much easier. It's just a question of how much money you want to spend.
Yeah.
I would like I would like to complete my collection of NES black box games. I'd say I'm 90% of the way there. I think I'm missing 5. The 5 that I'm missing are among the most expensive, especially the big box stack up. That's like $400.
Do you have Wrecking Crew on your
I do.
wall? Do you have Wild Gunman on your wall?
I do. I should have brought them over. You could have displayed them. Maybe I'll bring them over later. Bring them up. It'll be good.
When it comes to Holy Grail stuff, a lot of stuff we want would be in Europe. There's also that. Like I would love to come across like a Sam Coupe or a MSX,
right,
or something like that, where I know you can order.
Oh, well, yeah. They actually, speaking of, this is not a game, but yeah, the Hit Boy MSX PC. It's cherry red. It's got the built-in joystick.
It looks so good.
Yeah,
I've seen that
that's it. That's the Holy Grail.
Like I would like to have an FM. I like to have an FM Towns car, Marty. I don't know why. I just like the idea of having that in my huge '70s car. It's like, look, I could put a full-size console CRT in there too to play it.
Right.
Most of the stuff, I'm not going to sit here and say I want anything. And I'll tell you, listeners have been very generous to us and have sent us so many games and stuff over the years, including Lionheart, which would have been way up on my list. So I can't complain. I've gotten to the point where it comes to collecting stuff. I mean, I'll pick up almost anything at this point, but I'm not like, I would like to have the Dragon's Lair I'm missing to have to complete that little collection, but that's just, it's nothing major. But otherwise,
You don't have a boxed Dragon's Lair?
I've got 2 of them, but I'd like to have there was a Dragon's Lair, was it Dragon's Lair 2, or there's one I'm missing. It's a real rare. One that it's hard to find. And it's not even that, it's just some kind of crap. It's like the leftover scenes they cobble together, But none of mine are in like tremendous shape or anything. But that's something else. I don't collect. It's not like you and your boxes. When I was looking up the Wild Gunman and Wrecking Crew prices, those cartridges don't go for jack squat, $10, $15. If you want the box copy, it's astronomical.
Right.
And you've got nothing but boxes.
Yeah.
But which is goofy. Don't get me wrong.
The way that and I've talked to you about this before, when I moved to Korea, I needed cash. I knew I'd easily be able to rebuy the parts, but the boxes I knew would be a tough thing to do.
You were right. You made the right call there. And it's funny to look back. Of course, our show, ARG tomorrow, is going to be on the 1985. I've been looking at what was released in 85. And it really was a pretty, I would say, a conservative lineup of titles. Like they didn't go crazy with what they released. They were they weren't anything out left field.
They had an advantage because the NES had been out for 2 years already in Japan, and they could sort of cherry pick because there were a lot of dud games in the early Famicom days.
Their early lineup wasn't what I would call hot stuff. So don't get me wrong.
If you compare it to any other launch lineup, 23 games.
You're right. It's a valid point. And really at launch, it's the more the merrier, and really the quality sort of. And none of them. Well, I don't know about none of it. I'd say the majority of them aren't garbage.
Yeah, really, the only garbage games are the ones that came with Rob. Those were no good. Because Rob was no good.
Yeah.
Even though Rob looks cool.
Yeah, he does. He is pretty cool.
Hey, chat. How are we? You want to pull up the chat on your phone so I don't have to. I just want to make sure.
I was going to do it, but I was going to wait until you asked me. Because when I volunteered to do it, you're like, what? Pull it up on your phone, you jerk.
I can bring the camera closer. course, you won't be able to
camera
see
closer.
our full bodies, which I know
And
a lot of you
that's-
tune into.
We need the wide lens for that part of it. Give me a sec. Go ahead and keep going with questions. I can
Okay.
answer while I'm looking.
Rushi asks, what's one game that you've parted ways with in the past and now wish you hadn't been so short-sighted?
Do you have one off the top of your head?
I'm going to say, no, I don't have a single game, because most of my single game sales, I knew exactly what I was getting into. Oh yeah, actually, I've got a collection. I sold my boxed Game Boy Advance collection. It went for almost nothing. I don't know if I listed it wrong or if it was just a bad day on eBay or whatever. But I kept those games for years and years and years in pristine condition. And they were some of my most favorite games, like WarioWare and Mario vs. Donkey Kong and stuff like that. And when they sold for less than $10 a piece, box complete, pristine, I was upset. And I knew it was a mistake then, and I continue to know that it's a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to try to mute us here. God, I'm an attractive man.
You are. Rocking in your chair on your back porch?
There are arcade games that really hurt me bad. Those are the ones that come up, because those aren't, you can't just hop back on and get those. And what come to mind would be WrestleFest. That was to backstep. I had to sell those games because I was desperate for money, and I was leaving town in Lexington. And my dad was sick. It was bad. No good. And at one time I had a WrestleFest 4-player WrestleFest. I know a lot of people are like, WrestleFest, what a big deal. It's number one, it's a pretty popular cabinet these days. Number two, it was in pristine shape. It was the first thing we ever bought.
Was that after or before Slam Masters, or is that a totally different company?
A totally different company.
Okay.
And so I had one of those. I had a Road Blasters, a Miss Pac-Man, a Donkey Kong, a Galaga, and I had a Time Killers. I had a bunch of. I know again, it's not what people are like, Time Killers, but I liked it, And a Moon Patrol that I had to get rid of, and a Frogger. All these games, I'm like, man, if I'd only had the money and the space to keep these games. But at the time, I was just desperate, and I let them go for a song because I was in a hurry because the house was sold. I had to get out of there, and it was brutal selling those games. I remember, and this is gonna sound real lame, but I remember just almost all but crying over these games as they walked out of my house. And what was worse is having to help suckers load them into their trucks and stuff because they didn't want them to go. I really liked my little arcade in Kentucky because no one else had one. It was fun. We'd all come over and play. So that sucked. So when I think of games that I've gotten rid of, and I can't tell you the amount of arcade boards that we owned. We owned all the big boards, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the Mortal Kombats. We owned all the 4-player games, all that stuff. We owned all of them. X-Men, we had, everything. And so when we knew, at the time we thought these boards are going to disintegrate before they ever pay us back. And me and Brent made the conscious decision to sell them. I regret selling our original pinball machine, sound stations, which was a lot of fun, but we couldn't maintain it. So that's another one I hate to get rid of. Really, in terms of video games, I didn't really sell that many. The only ones I really sold that I sort of kind of wish I sold Flashback for the Amiga and Speedball 2. I bet I sold those the month before we started the show, ironically. So those are a couple. But even if I'd had them, I just have them on the shelf. My other ones there, so it's not hideous, And I got good money for them too, so I can't complain. I haven't sold a lot of games. Most of the stuff I've got, it probably isn't worth a ton, game-wise. Maybe a few things. I don't know. The Lionheart's worth something. I'm never gonna sell that.
Right. Let's see. What's the first game you can remember single credit clearing in the arcade?
Single credit clearing in the arcade. Well, arcade games you don't really clear there.
Like X-Men, you could single.
No,
like most of those.
There's a 0% chance. I have beaten WrestleFest on one quarter, and I'd say probably the number one game I remember doing it for, being very proud, was Map Mania. Because you can, you can't clear it. You could actually finish. I'm trying to think one you could actually finish. Now, one that comes to mind is WWF Superstars. I beat that on 1 quarter, so I'd say that would be the one. Because there's most arcade games, they just keep going forever. Unless it's like Final Four or something, there's nobody beating that on a quarter.
Yeah, I've never cleared. I don't think I've ever beaten, aside from beat 'em ups, which you just bring like a $20 roll of quarters and you muscle your way through. I don't think I've ever beaten any arcade game.
You could be a Laserdisc game. I'm sure Brent could give Dragon Slayer a good run for its money in the arcade. I mean, I don't know about now, but at the peak of his powers, he was real good at Dragon Slayer. He could go through and he could beat the dragon. I've never had the ability to. My memory's not good enough, but I can get pretty far into it. So that's one you could do. But yeah, for the most part, most of the games I like to put in the arcade just couldn't be.
Yeah. If they made imagine we're well aware of the Spectrum Next.
Yeah.
If they made an Amiga Next, would you buy it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending. Of course, I mean, do we already have an Amiga Next? I mean, we sort of do, don't we? Aren't these high-priced Amigas that we talk about and we don't cover? Those are sort of like the Amiga Next, aren't they?
I would say like the X5000 and all that stuff.
To me, what is, and really even the Next, right? What is it? It's a guess. It's a fun, limited powered update to a machine that gives you the ability. It's a clever idea. Let's make something like the original. We'll still have it limited, but we'll add in features that may have came around if they kept going, and it'll give people something to program on. But there'll be limitations to keep the game set into a certain simple, pattern. I don't know if I want the Amiga to go down that road. That's okay for the Spectrum or Coco or something.
I just think that the Amiga, you hit the nail on the head. The Amiga has gone down that road.
Yeah.
It's all of Trevor Dickinson's Amigas.
Right, but I mean, those aren't made to be like limited versions of the previous game with a slight evolution. Those are full on. Those are modern machines, which is what you should do.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't make a modern ZX Spectrum. It wouldn't work. So what they did was what you can do. It was clever. The Amiga, I don't know if it would work that way.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So I would say, if they came up with something, listen, clearly I'm an idiot. If I've got any money that I've cobbled together and no one's stolen from me and turned into rubles, I'll go for it. But they have to be something pretty clever. And those newer Amigas, I'm not saying they're bad. I just have never got into it.
Yeah.
They may be the best thing since gummy bears. I don't know.
Brucey asks, is there ample lodging and convention space in your hometown to host a hypothetical Amiga Hurricane 2021?
No.
Yes.
Well,
let me answer this question because I've actually thought about it.
Yeah, you did think about having a convention a couple years ago.
So, at the original time that I thought about it, the answer was a resounding no.
That's true.
However, down by the Pizza Hut, they built that new Wingate Hotel that has a huge conference room, a huge bar, and is a pretty hopping place.
They've got a conference room here at the wave pool now as well.
That's true, but it doesn't have an adjoining bar and hotel, so when people get drunk, they can't stumble off.
Plus, I know the bartender over there.
There you go.
So double trouble.
Yeah, I am in the initial stages of putting something together.
You are?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. Now that we have the venue, and the venue is close to our homes, and the venue has drinking, and it has a place where you can crash in a big conference room, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I would love to have. Now, here's my eternal, immortal fear, though, Bo. And this was a fear I had when you went to Ireland. I told you, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I thought to myself, what's going to happen if Bo he gets on a plane? He drives his car to Philly or whatever. He gets on a plane. He flies to Ireland. He gets off the plane. He gets a cab. He takes it to the place that they're going to have this thing. And again, keep in mind that I didn't know what he was getting into, and you didn't either, really.
No.
And it's a barn or a real shoddy building, and you walk in there, and there's about 6 guys in there, and they may be having an Amiga 600, and they're huddled around, they're playing soccer. They don't know who the hell you are, and don't care. And you came all that way. What are you going to do? I would hate for people to, let's pretend, in a miracle world, that people we know flew to Hurricane, okay, as ludicrous as that is, to come to the Amigos Epic Amiga Convention, okay?
I like that name.
Whatever you
I'm
call
keeping
it.
that. I'm sticking that in my mind.
And they get in there and they say, "Here's me and you, sort of sitting like we are now, a couple dumb guys, right, sipping on rum, right, and we're playing Lionheart while you yell at me about how bad it is, and that's the convention. There's no speakers." There's nothing going on. No one shows up.
That sounds great.
And so you've
Sign
got
me up.
You say you've got like 3 or 4 people that paid like 2 or 3 grand to fly here because they're nuts. And here we are. We've got nothing to offer. That's what my worry is.
You know that what I plan on doing.
I got to hear this.
Is I plan on actually figuring out how much the venue costs.
All right. Can't be that much.
Making sure that we sell enough tickets to pay for the venue.
Oh, we're selling tickets to this too.
Do you not understand how Amiga Ireland works?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because
Amiga Ireland also sells tickets to support the price of the venue.
Okay, now I understand. But who around here is going to buy tickets for this?
No, nobody is. Everybody's going to come here. Listen, man, you've seen Field of Dreams. You know how it is. At the end, you choke, and then the ghost saves you.
Yeah.
So
your plan, I see a couple flaws in this plan. Number one, we just jettisoned 3 shows because you don't have enough time to do them, and you're going to plan a full convention.
Listen, it's in the early stages.
Yeah.
You got to believe in me. You got to believe in me. I'm going to make it happen. All right, Mitsuyama. Oh no, Rushi asks, "Can I play guitar?" Guitar is the same thing as a piano, except you hold it like a guitar.
Yeah, those are cool.
So,
I always like those.
Yeah, I mean, I could pluck out a tune on the guitar, but I'm definitely no Herbie Hancock.
What about that? Or Howard Jones? Remember him? You don't remember him?
No.
He sang.
Didn't he play for?
Whoa, 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 whoa! He was a white British guy with crazy hair, multicolored hair. He sang. I can't remember the name of the song. He sang 2 or 3 songs that he was a real big keyboard guy, electronic guy from back in the day. But Herbie Hancock, I've never seen him play a guitar. Does he play one?
Yeah, have you heard that song Rocket?
Oh yeah,
he performs that on guitar when he does it live.
Yeah. Okay, all right. It's funny. Howard Jones. That was the first album I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, did you buy it on tape or was it on
tape? Duran to that and Duran Arena, and Arena was not. It wasn't what I would call a greatest hits album.
I haven't heard that album. I've heard Rio.
Well, it's just got. I think it's a greatest hits or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never liked it that much.
Mitsuyama asks, and there are two questions. Another person asked this too.
All right.
Let me get the other name here.
Did you ever drink your ale?
I did.
How was it?
It was good. I should have brought a couple.
Yeah, you blew it. I knew when you walked up here with one, I'm like, he's bummed.
You don't have a bottle of water in your fridge, do you?
Nah, for you. No, I don't have anything for you. Yeah, I'll go get you one. Go ahead and ask the next one. You got an extra one.
Pixels at Dawn and Mitsuyama asks, "What is your favorite British TV show?"
Oh, no. Are you just name one? I remember answering this when I wasn't supposed to, with about 50 answers.
Right. So try and narrow it down. Right
now, my favorite of the day is the Granada Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes. I love Jeremy Brett. I love him. And I love the Granada show. They spared no expense in the sets, the casting, everything is beautiful. Some of the dialogue is literally, in fact, a large chunk of it's verbatim from the books. They didn't screw around. They made minor changes for television, and they made a couple major changes that made sense in the show. I don't know how big a Sherlockian you are, but there has never been a Holmes like Jeremy Brett. There never will be another Holmes like Jeremy Brett. There's no one in the same ballpark. And this show is what happens when you have the best actors, the best writers, and the best source material backed by the best sets and the best money. You get this show.
And this was in the early 80s?
This was an early 80s show, yes. A tremendous show. It has aged brilliantly as it would.
I'll have to watch it.
It's a period piece.
Is it available on the internet?
It's on BritBox.
Okay.
If you've got
I'm down with the BritBox. I can fire that up.
Honestly, and watch it in order.
Okay.
Now the first 2 seasons have a different Watson, and the rest of the run, but the changeover is so seamless you won't even notice that the 2 Watsons complement each other quite well. And it is just and you'll recognize tons and tons of actors that came through there. It was a who's who of the British acting scene of that era. So yeah, a tremendous show. And I could name, me, I could name 100 other shows I like that are British.
Right. For me, boy, It's tough because I like a lot of British TV too. I really like for classic stuff. It's hard to go. Well, classic being like 30 years ago now. It's hard to go wrong with Ab Fab.
I'm surprised that you like that shit.
I'm
It's so body.
I'm surprised that I like it too.
It's just not a boat like or religiously or compatible in any way.
Right, but it's so good. Like it's such a panache. It's like Spinal Tap, you know. It's like such a send up of like this group of people, you know, this like fashionista type scene. I just love it.
You know, the chick that played Adina in that. What's her name? I can't.
Blonde girl, right?
No, not Blonde girl.
Oh no, Patsy. Adina is Jennifer Saunders.
Saunders.
Yeah.
First of all, she was on a show called French and Saunders. I don't know if you ever watched it. French and Saunders. But she also she was hooked up with one of the guys that was making Young Ones, and she was actually in the Young Ones, and so was Don French as well. And so it's funny. There's a tapestry of British comedy. And we mentioned a couple of episodes ago that Abe Edmondson sang the theme. He's credited with singing. He actually appeared on the show one time. He was also in the Young Ones. And so it's funny how all those things are sort of intertwined. And there's a lot of Ab Fab that reminds me of Young Ones. You can tell that they took the Young Ones' free-spirited insanity, shotgun blast at the camera style of comedy. And they sort of adapted it to Ab Fab, and they sort of wrapped a more cohesive story around it, I guess. But really, if you look at an Ab Fab episode, and Young Ones is the same way, you sort of would forget what was even the plot was. It's like a scene where Adina and Patsy are trying to get out of the limo.
Right.
That's the scene.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a Seinfeld, the same way.
It's very similar to Seinfeld. Modern, like non-sitcom drama. I really like. Andrew Marr did a couple of documentaries. One is called the Making of Modern Britain, and then there's one just called, I think, just Modern Britain. Really good histories of like the 20s through the 60s, then the 60s through the 80s. I think that British history, like modern British history, is fascinating. So check that out if you haven't. People watching.
We're both. I mean, I think there are more fans of British TV now than there probably ever have been.
Oh yeah,
because when we were kids, there were only 2 or 3 shows from Britain you ever heard about. It was Benny Hill, Monty Python, and maybe Faulty Towers.
Well, on Saturday mornings, PBS would play British comedies, and so that's when I started. That's when I saw like Last of the Summer Wine, Are You Being Served?
Well, when I was a kid, they didn't do it. What you got from Britain, and again, it was on. You're right, PBS didn't play it, but what you got mostly was the Good Life. Remember that? I think that was but mostly it was like Benny Hill, Monty Python. That's it. That was it. And then Faulty Towers crept onto, and Doctor Who. I should mention Doctor Who was always present there.
Yeah.
But now, and really, the first thing I ever saw that really got to me was the Young Ones, and then you started seeking them out.
Yeah. Because I'm 10 years younger than you. They'd already left PBS, but Comedy Central picked up all those shows, and that's when I first saw Monty Python and Young Ones.
That was great. I saw Young Ones was on MTV, but the British, and there are plenty of shows that have just been like one-offs or two-offs. They only had one series, and they're still.
Oh yeah.
Like I used to watch Jekyll was one I watched. I thought it was a pretty cool show. So yeah, there's a lot of good TV coming out. Is it coming out now? And I don't know.
Well, I think you're right, and that British TV is more famous in the States now than it's ever been. If you look at like the rise of Sherlock and the thing about the big mansion, Downton Abbey, like that show's huge. Well, it's one of the biggest shows.
It's been around forever though.
I mean, it's less than 10 years old. I mean, it's not on anymore, but I mean, all of those shows plus the whole like BritBox thing has done big numbers. In fact, I remember reading in The Economist where the BBC is making more off BritBox than they are through like traditional TV licensing in the UK.
Imagine. It's like we're paying a licensing
fee. Right.
You know that Sherlock show, because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. He's tremendous. And I've tried like gangbusters to like that show. I tried, but ultimately they Doctor Who'd it up, and it ruined it for me. I just can't get into it.
The female Watson is what did it.
No. Well, I didn't know there was a female Watson. That's Elementary. That's an American show. I love Lucy Liu, but I've never seen that show.
And then we have a couple questions about whether, Rushi and Mitsuyama both ask about if we like the new or the old Bake Off hosts more.
I haven't watched Bake Off since some unpleasantness here at the house.
Yeah.
But I love the new hosts. I do miss Mary, who and the old hosts. I did like them; they were funny. But the new hosts are gold. And,
Yeah.
what's the dude's name from what's the
IT crowd?
What's the name of his show? The Mighty Boosh.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
I don't know.
Nigel
Martin
something.
Skrelling.
No. Anyway, he's the gothy dude from that show
The
about
IT crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
That's another show.
Yeah.
The episode where that chick has the internet on that desk is one of the all-time great moments in television history.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch all those.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, because I haven't seen him since I was in England
Man.
actually.
But anyway, that dude is a walking wad of charisma.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's so, and also I love the fact that he just doesn't care. He doesn't care what he looks like.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if he looks like an idiot. He wants you to make fun of him.
Right.
And the
right.
chick that they've got on there, who actually reminds me a little bit of Dawn French a little bit, is also
She's like
good.
Danish or something.
Yeah, she's
she's
very good.
Yeah.
And then-
I agree with you 100%.
I hit the wall
Do
on the
those.
baking shows for a while, so I'll be back.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't because of them; they were gold. So I would go with the new host, but I was not happy when they replaced them. So I was like, and I was ready to kill them. And the fact that they cast that guy was sort of I think it was probably sort of a ploy, a gamble, trying to be different, but it
Right.
worked.
It worked.
Yeah, that guy pulled it off. So that's double credit to that guy.
Rushi also asks, have you been inspired to start a new fitness routine while in lockdown?
Yeah. It's a new fitness routine. It's called Eat Everything I See All the Time. Oh, and then when no one's here, drink as much as I possibly can. That's my fitness routine.
Don't forget the smoking.
Oh, well, no, that's the first smoke I've had for a long time. But yeah. I was hoping someone would mention that guy's name on here.
Just recently, in the past, since it's gotten, basically my fitness routines circle around whether the weather is nice or not. When the weather is nice, I'm inclined to go out and be active. When the weather is awful, I'm inclined to lay on the couch and do nothing. So now that summer is rolling around, I've been taking walks in the morning that I would not call that a real brutal fitness routine. Paul, aka Hermsky, writes,
A Herm firm.
A Herm firm. He asks, "What is your favorite cake?"
Oh, God.
Speaking of fitness,
Uneaten is my favorite cake. You're asking me that. It makes me want cake right now, Bo.
I'll tell you my least favorite cake.
Yeah, what's that?
Birthday cake.
Oh,
Nasty.
no.
I hate sheet cake.
Well, hell, hold the phone now. Hold the phone, Bud, on that.
Like-
Sheet cake's okay if you get the good icing.
Well, what happens
if you
is
get that crap icing,
somebody's going to run over to Kroger,
yeah,
grab something off the shelf,
That's
and it's
right.
going to be off.
there's nothing wrong with that, Bud. First of all, there's nothing wrong with that. They're on the shelf. The deli made. It's not like they just made them and stick them out there for like a month. They're
Well,
brand new cake.
It's not up to
I
the
like the
standard.
birthday cake that has the good icing, the real sweet icing. I don't like that sort of other icing, the kind of like.
I'm not aware of icing that's not sweet.
Well, no, they've got like a
Buttercream?
whipped butter, like a whipped icing that's
Oh yeah,
not
that's
good.
no good.
That's
you
and
want
the thing
the
is-
you want the firm
And the thing
stuff.
is, people love that stuff, and they're no
Yeah.
good.
No,
They're
I
like,
agree
oh,
with-
that
I'm with
other
you.
cake is too rich. If it's too rich, go to hell.
Right.
But you're
I'm with
subjecting
you.
me to this lame cake. Because like you said, the cake is nothing to write home about.
Right.
It's all about
It's
the
all
icing.
about the icing.
Big
The-
wads of it, as much as you can cake on a big flour.
The cake is just a vehicle for the icing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct, Bo. In terms of actual cakes, that my favorite cakes, I would probably say it would be like, I like, German chocolate cake is good.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with that one, Bo. Just a straight up chocolate cake, chocolate chips in there. I'm cool with that.
Where do you stand on the Dairy Queen ice cream cake?
I'll eat one, clearly. But it's not like, I would rather have a sheet cake.
You'd rather
I
have a
think.
sheet cake. Okay, interesting. And Baskin Robbins sort of did the hybrid thing, where they had
Yeah.
the sheet cake with the ice cream on top. I always thought that was nasty.
The problem
I've
with
never trusted
the problem with
Baskin
those ice cream cakes, especially when you're a day, because when I think of a birthday cake, I've got to supply the sucker,
Right.
and then I've got to make sure it doesn't melt. And you got a bunch of kids there; it's crazy time. Just
Yeah.
get a sheet cake.
Yeah.
But in terms of a non-birthday cake, I also like your pineapple upside down cake.
Really?
That's some good eating right there. You ever had that stuff?
I'm not a fan. I don't like that one.
Oh man, I love bananas. I love bananas. That's what I like in my pineapple upside down cake. But yeah, cake.
My
I like
favorite
all of it.
cake is the cupcake. Because the cupcake is small, and again, it serves as the vehicle for the icing. Because you got
That's-
about 10 inches of icing
Well,
on top
so
of the
you
big
talk about those gourmet
Right, the
joints.
gourmet
Those things
cupcakes.
cost like $15.
I'm
for
not
a
saying they're
cupcake.
cheap. I'm saying they're good.
The thing is, those things are in those. Often those cupcakes are in those like display things for like a 2 or 3 days. Then you come in there and the ice is all hard, and the
Yeah.
cake's all hard. You're like, man, what did I pay
I also
$15
like I like a good cake pop. Have you had a cake pop
I
before?
have. That's no good.
You don't like them? Interesting.
Here's my thing. I know this is gonna stun you, but brace yourself. When it comes to cake, it's quantity over quality, folks. If someone says, listen, you can have this delicious cupcake, gourmet cupcake, or here's a whole birthday sheet cake, even with the bad icing, I'll take the birthday cake every time.
All right.
Somebody's growing out, ain't they?
Oh yeah, it smells great.
We need to meet them.
The guy trimming the things has gone away too,
Yeah.
so everything's coming
It's
up. in the
pretty
house.
up here.
Yeah. Rushi asks, how do you feel about the idea of teenagers being able to get driver's licenses without actually taking a formal test due to the current pandemic scenario? Now, I want to take a crack at this one first.
Please.
I got my license in West Bygod, Virginia, over at the Putnam Village.
That's right. That's where you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's what you do. You get in the car, there's a parking lot, okay? And you got the big lots. And you drive past the big lots. You come around by the Halftime Cafe Grill and Bar.
It used to be a Shoney's.
Yep. You go up the side, and then you park it between two cones, okay? Parallel. You pull back out,
Yep.
right up in front of the DMV, and the guy says you passed. Congratulations, you've got your driver's license. I guarantee you this is still how today teenagers in West Virginia get their driver's license. They're not missing anything by not taking that test. They're going to be just as safe or dangerous on the road.
I would disagree with you here, Bo. Teenagers can't drive for crap, all right? In fact, adults can't either, all right? I was just out with the boy today. I'm coming up the road. I'm in a turn lane to turn left, and beside me, this is coming out of Gasoline Alley down here. Beside me, here's a lane that's just a void lane. You're not supposed to go in it.
Right.
Some dude with a Duke Boys colored pickup truck, I kid you not, with the 01 on the side and some rebel flags in the back window,
Yeah.
drives up the center lane and just makes a left turn and blows through the red light.
Oh my
Doesn't
God.
care, because when you're in the mystery lane, the lights don't apply. And I told
course.
Luke, I'm like, you see this goof right here? He goes, yeah, I got it. That right there is what's wrong with the country. Because these guys can't drive. They just make their own rules. And I'm getting a ticket for a slow roll to a stop.
Right.
I got a problem with that.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand.
These suckers need more training. I went to driver's ed, Bo. Did you go to
Oh,
driver's
yeah.
ed?
I drove
Did
around
you
with
go to that?
Eggleton.
Did you go to that stupid driving
Over at
course
Coca
at
High?
Coca?
Yeah.
Right. How many times did you go there? Hundreds.
Hundreds.
In all the different vehicles. They need to get these kids lined out. And even when I got out of there, I wasn't ready. No one's ready, you know. And these people can't drive. They're screwing up the highway. So, no, I don't think they should get their license. Suck it up. That's what I say.
He also asks, what was the first racing video game that you played where you truly felt an immersive sense of speed?
Pole position.
Was that also the first racing game you played?
No. God, no.
Did you play Super Sprint?
Play turbo, stuff like that. Pole position, you had the, and I'll tell you, the next one in line would probably be something like an outrun. Those ones where you had the wheel. I mean, one thing about outrun, you got that feedback that was awesome. I remember from walking up the arcade machine and seeing it play itself, I was like,
That's
is there
cool.
a ghost here?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
in God's name's happening? Because we were naive fools. I remember, I told you, I couldn't believe a tape deck worked. I was
Right.
stunned. Like, well, what's making that noise? You know, so, but pole position, you got in that seat, so it was cool. It was cool. You really felt like you were in a race car, you know. So I would say pole position. What about you?
For me, I never, the only time I ever saw pole position was upright. They had it over at the pipe stem down there in the lodge.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't, and I mean, at that point, I played pole position on the Atari. It was
That's
nothing
not the
big.
same.
It was nothing big. The first time that I saw Daytona USA over at Rock Lake, that was the first time I was like, man, this is super cool. I love this.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's a good game. You know, my buddy up in Charleston had 4 or 5 of those things, and we used to get in there and play them. You know, they had them all linked together in this arcade, and that it
Is that
holds
Wade?
up.
Wade?
Yeah, it was Wade,
Yeah.
actually. Gosh, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
And my buddy down in Mark down in Buffalo, he's got it set up, but he's got like Daytona.
You know, those games are hard to get rid of. Sometimes I see them pop up for sale, and nobody wants them. 'Cause
It'd be
they're
cool to
so-
have like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
That'd be
they're
a lot
so
of fun.
big though. You gotta have a wall, a dedicated wall.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
This one's for you, Aaron.
All right.
Who's your favorite Doctor Who companion and why?
Ace. That's easy. That's an easy
Ace?
one. Ace.
Is that a
She
lady?
was Sylvester McCoy. Yeah, she was Sylvester McCoy's companion when he did his time as the Doctor. I think he was the 7th Doctor, I believe. I love and McCoy's arguably my favorite Doctor with Tom Baker.
Wait a minute. Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah. He was also
Bones?
No, what?
Isn't that Bones'
No,
name?
McCoy was named. No,
What's McCoy's first name?
Bones.
No, it's Sylvester.
Leonard McCoy.
Leonard McCoy. You're
Yeah.
making that up.
No, it is. Sylvester McCoy was in the Hobbit movies. He played the Brown Wizard or whatever the guy's name was.
Radagast.
Radagast, yeah. But I love Sylvester McCoy. But Ace, the interplay between Ace and him, McCoy, was awesome because it was the only Doctor Who where it was a student-teacher relationship, almost like a Jedi thing, where Ace was this sort of
Doctor and
out of control kid. I mean, really, who was and she was also becoming a woman, and she was rough and tumble life out in the void, and she was not stupid, but she was out of control, and he kept her in line and also taught her things. And on the flip side, McCoy couldn't beat up anybody. Like, he was by far the wimpiest Doctor. It's not like today, the Doctor's sword fight, he's throwing grenades, or whooping. Even the old guy was killing. This guy couldn't beat up nobody. He was, except for maybe the first Doctor, he was the weakest, most pathetic. So he had Ace, who could carry around explosives. And he'd be like, Ace, did you bring any Nitro 9? Yeah, here, blow that guy up, blow this guy up. So she was his muscle, which I always thought was great. But even she didn't. She was like, he should kill a bunch of people. But they would think their way out of situations, and there would be a lesson learned. And she didn't even call him the Doctor; she called him the Professor for the whole run. I loved it. Their relationship was great, and they didn't always have the best episodes, but they were the best. So I think her name was Sophie Adler. I think was her name. She's a great actress too. So there you go.
I'm guessing that you've never been to a location where an episode of Doctor Who has been filmed.
No.
But is there one that sticks out that you would specifically like to visit?
Does that include like fictional ones?
You can answer however you like.
I would like to go to Gallifrey.
What's that?
Frankly, that's where Doctor Who's from.
Are all of them from there?
Yeah.
Are they like
citizens? They're all
of
the same
Gallifrey?
guy. If you think about it, they're the same guy.
I don't understand how Doctor
Who
works. Is it like Green Lantern?
No, when he dies, he basically turns into the next Doctor. It's the same guy. He just has different.
Why do you think they did it that way?
Well, initially convenience, but eventually it became something cool because they could just, sort of like Bond. He said Bond doesn't have anything. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But in terms of where they've been on Earth, I have to think about this for a minute. Well, I'd like to go to London, frankly, if you want the truth. It'd be fun to go there. So that would be kind of neat. But yeah, if I could pick a fictional place, it'd be a place like Gallifrey. Yeah.
This is a good question from our boy Duncan Styles. When was the last time that you felt you were taken for a mug, fool or con? I'll answer this one first.
All right.
Every time I buy a vehicle, I feel that I've been mugged, conned, and because it's true, because I know I have, because the guy's laughing.
And you just have to submit.
Right.
You were all submissives when it comes to that. You just have to take it.
That's right. So that every time I buy a vehicle, I get that feeling, and it's not a good feeling.
Well, aside from my recent conning, the most recent one where I got taken to school by the Russians, I learned a dumb guy lesson one time on eBay where I negotiated. I love to negotiate outside the protective realm of eBay. Back in the day, I was the ultimate cowboy. I used to do it all the time, especially when I was selling stuff. But on occasion, I would lose an auction, and I would email the guy and say, "Listen, if this guy blows it, I'm your boy." And then we would negotiate outside of eBay, and it happened all the time. And you could get real good deals on stuff, and you could also, if you're a seller, you could use one auction to sell 10 items. Because when I was bootlegging videotapes, I would sell to everyone that bid, and then I would cut them a deal. And one time this guy was selling an Xbox. What was it? I can't remember. It was an Xbox or Xbox 360. This is way back, and I was like, I emailed this guy. And also now you can't do it. Back in the day, you had your email address. Or I'd message him and I said, "Listen, can we work something out?" Maybe, and so we worked out a deal. And I sent this guy, and this was a stupid move, but I'm the trusting sort. I sent this guy money before I got the product, and I never heard from him again. It was like $130. You wouldn't think about it now, but it burns me up.
Yeah.
I hate when I get conned.
That happened to me. The only time that I've ever gotten conned on an online auction was I was really into buying magic cards, and when I started
sort of like
teaching,
now.
yeah. And so I was always on the lookout for good deals, and so I started hanging out over at the Yahoo auctions because stuff would go for cheaper. And I sent this guy. He's like Mox Emerald, one of the most expensive cards in Magic. He's like $200. Send me a money order. And I was like, boy, this seems a little shady.
Yeah.
Sent him a money order. Like, I got the receipt back in the mail somehow that he'd signed it. Didn't get the card.
Yeah.
There's no recourse.
There's nothing you can do. Yeah, and the thing is, when that happens, all you can do is feel like an idiot.
Right, because it was my fault.
Yeah.
And so,
but I mean, I will say, given the people I know, I'm not saying they're all morons or losers, but I've gotten taken a lot less than most people.
Yeah.
And I will say, yes, I do. I've done some shady deals, but I've always been honest in my shade. Just like, hey, now you know why I like Minder so much. The exact same reason. I had a lot in common with those guys.
Pixels of Dawn asks, after listening to Brent's tale of woe, what's the worst pain you have ever experienced?
You want to field this one right
Sure.
off the head?
I know right away.
Yeah.
So I used to mow my trombone professor's lawn at OU, and he was having some construction done. And earlier in the day, there'd been rain, and I slipped, and the lawnmower went down the hill and put a huge scratch in my buddy's car, who I'd driven over there. I'd driven his car over there to mow his lawn. So I was like, oh, this is a bad day. I'm gonna have to pay for the scratch.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm mowing his backyard, and he's got all these, construction's going on. He's got all these boards and stuff in the backyard. So I'm going along, all of a sudden, boom, step on a board that's got a nail sticking up out of it.
Yeah.
Right through the foot, Home Alone style.
Yeah, yeah.
And so not only did I scratch up my buddy's car, but I had to step on a nail. And the pain of stepping on a nail wasn't the bad part. It was when I went to the emergency room, and they said, we're going to have to reopen the wound to clean it out.
Yeah.
And then they got in there with it was like some sort of reverse crucifixion type thing, where they're pounding the nail in to get the stuff out.
It was an inverted stigmata.
Right, exactly. And I felt like Braveheart at that point.
Yeah. Into that movie. You talk about, you're a squeamish guy. I was like, man, this is no good.
No,
I've never watched it again.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to not break any bone. I'm going to break one right now. There's no wood around. I have had at one time I had a really horrible ear ache. I mean, really bad. Like, that went on for a long time. Mm-hmm. There's a pain. It's that kind of, the pain that gets me is the kind of pain that just don't go away. You have to just suck it up.
It's incessant.
And even, sometimes even other people don't know you're suffering. Mm-hmm. That one time during the Amigathon where I was in mega pain, that sucked too, because I was trying to. That's real hard when you get a job to do, and you just have to suck it up.
What year was that?
It was a couple years ago. It was the one before last. I like to think I've got a pretty high threshold of pain, but maybe I just haven't gotten hit with anything so painful that I wanted to die. So yeah, I hope I don't.
No. Lobsterminator asks, getting back to Amiga Convention 2021.
Oh jeez, that name sucks. By the way.
What are you talking about? Rolls off the tongue.
I would go with at least 21. I don't see it happening to 20.
If amigos from faraway lands came to Hurricane as visitors, what would you show us of your city?
Well, we don't have a city, so there's that.
What are you talking about? The door is angry that you insulted Hurricane.
We must not have closed it all the way. So we don't live in a city, for starters. We live in what you would probably consider a village or something. I don't know how does that work over in Europe.
They got different rules over there. I don't know.
Because this ain't a city. This ain't even a town.
No. Yeah, I guess it would be a village over there.
So here's, if you were to take a trip to Hurricane.
First of all, you would never call it that.
You would never call it that. But you would then be taken in the surrounding area to sightsee. You wouldn't, because, I mean.
Listen, man, you're selling the city short.
What would you show them in Hurricane? What would you show them?
First of all, breakfast at Tudor's Biscuit Board.
Right, which is overrated. Let's face it. It's a
overrated.
greasy biscuit. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I'm just waiting to see if the umbrella blows off.
I've been keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, I guess you do have to leave. You do have to leave Hurricane.
Also, that's not a site.
What?
Every place has some kind of good restaurant.
It's a historic site.
No, it's not. Those Tudors are all over the place. There's hundreds of those things. So what else you got?
Okay. Then you go. Well, I guess you do have to leave Hurricane.
Yeah. What are the other sites in Hurricane?
In Hurricane,
historical or otherwise?
Okay. You got the We could take them. You know, Hurricane has a new crop of mini storage facilities. The A to Z. We could take them to all the places that used to be real places, but are now mini storage.
And
facilities.
really, the real places were grocery stores.
You take them over to A to Z. You take them over to the old Red Roof Inn. It's now a mini storage place. You can tell tales about those sorts of things.
They're garbage. You just made my point. If you were to come to town, you would get there. Really, you have two options that are fairly local. All right, one they're grilling out right there. You've got we could take you towards Huntington / Point Pleasant, or you could go towards Charleston / Cross Lanes. Now, when you get to these places, there are things to see. If you went to Charleston / Cross Lanes area, there are a couple of Indian burial mounds up there that are interesting. You probably aren't going to see that sort of thing in Europe.
Charleston.
There's one in St. Albans as well. There's two there. There's a in the park there at right where you work right beside one. There's an Indian burial mound right there beside State College.
Really?
Oh yes, Bo. Listen, see, he lives here. He didn't know about the burial mound. You could also go to Hawks Nest and Cathedral Falls and stuff. They're not that far. Canal Falls. They're not that far away.
But they're not that far away. But they're not that close either.
They're talking like an hour. I mean, you're going to go an hour.
Right, an hour each way.
That's right. If you're going to go towards the Point Pleasant side of stuff, you can see Chief Cornstalk's national park or local or state forest. You can see all the stuff that's in Point Pleasant, the Mothman stuff, which is that's probably the way I would probably go. You could go to Huntington. There are some historical things to see there, some interesting things, or clubs or whatever. But I mean, basically, I guess what I'm saying is, if you come to Hurricane to visit us and you expect a whirlwind tour of Austin, you're an idiot. That's not going to happen.
I feel like you're selling the Milton Flea Market short.
I hate the listen, the Milton Flea Market blows, and you know it. It's not been the same for years.
But there's a lot of people in Europe that have never experienced anything like
We could get to the Hillbilly Flea Market in an hour.
Is it better?
It's the Hillbilly Flea Market, dude.
Okay, I see that.
You kidding me?
Okay, so there are things to see and do.
Remember when you went to Ireland? It was like the world's oldest pub, right? Bam, it's just right there. We don't have anything like that because we don't,
That's true. That's true.
The world's most unemployed people here. The world's most unemployed coal miners here. Even if you wanted to go to a coal mine, we had to go to Beckley. That's a couple hours.
Yeah, right.
So everything here, it takes forever to get to anywhere.
Yes. Paul, aka Hermsky, writes, "What game did you dread reviewing the most?"
Sim Life immediately pops into my head. What about you?
I think Sim Life, definitely. I really had qualms
I know what you're going to say.
Elite.
Yeah.
Because we always talked about that, but that
I
turned out
wanted to
to be
do that like the 4th or 5th episode. Like, we got to do Elite.
Yeah.
You're like, we had it scheduled. And Boat's like, we're not doing this.
Really,
we're never doing this.
Any game that requires a major consulting of the instruction manual, I get nervous about, because I'm always worried that I'm going to miss some important plot point and miss what's fun about the game.
For Sim Life, and we both did this, we had to watch a tutorial.
Right.
Just to get the and
well, I had to do that with Elite also. Elite 2.
Yeah. But even Elite was Sim Life is just you look at all these. You're just like, gee, Christmas, we don't got a manual.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing you can be like, well, you can look the manual up the PDF. That ain't the same,
not the
brother.
same.
You can take that to Can and study
Exactly. It's not there laying on your desk spiral bound.
So, but those are instantly come to mind. And then when there's been a lot of games, there's always games I'm trepidation about. all the time. Anything that, like any of the role-playing stuff or the like Dungeon Master, I didn't want to screw that one up. I didn't want to screw up, because I hate when we do something really dumb. And I always go back to the same one, but Super Stardust. I feel like a total jackass every time it's mentioned. There's been a bunch. I'm just like, man, we just didn't do a very good job on this, or we didn't get some stuff. We're just not good enough, Like Traps and Treasures, I wasn't very good at it, but at least I got to see the whole thing, and I got to see, and I can't just watch somebody play it. I got to get in there, So, but yeah, there've been plenty. I'd say almost every month there's something hideous that I get scared of. Yeah.
He asks,
a lot of Spectrum games, by the way, have scared the crap out of me, because those are sort of archaic and complicated, and we don't have the manuals, and we have no idea what the keyboard setup is. That's when you really got problems.
Absolutely. What game changed your opinion the most, for better or for worse? So what game did you come around either to or away from after reviewing?
You want to field this one first?
Probably all of the first time that we did, I think it was Dungeon Master was the first dungeon crawler that we did. And I didn't have any opinions about dungeon crawlers. I'd never played them before. And I thought, boy, well, maybe this is going to be something that I can really get into. Maybe this is, I can transport myself mentally back to when these games were a big deal, and I will see what other people saw in them. And no, I still can't do that. I still don't see the fun in moving one block at a time through a dungeon that looks exactly the same, with the exact same textures, fighting monsters that have no animation. Like, man, it's the worst. It's the dirt worst. It's the worst genre that's ever been created, that probably will ever be created.
What was the question again?
What game changed your opinion the most?
So that one didn't change your opinion at all?
No. Well, I had no opinion going in, and my opinion was really jacked in the negative direction afterwards.
I'm trying to think if there's been a game that I played, I just couldn't believe it, how much I thought it was awesome. I'll say, gosh, I have to think about this for a minute. There have been a couple Spectrum games I was just like, man, this is going to go down hard, and then I ended up liking them a lot.
Actually, a lot of Spectrum games were like that for me.
Like Chaos comes to mind. I mean, you talk about, and that is not my kind of game. And
right.
So,
I would say for a positive example, it would be Chaos for sure.
Chaos. And here again, we're on the Spectrum. I'm looking over this game trying to ascertain what in God's name I'm looking at. You know, what am I doing? And then it's one of those games where slowly you're like, oh yeah, man.
Right.
Covert Affairs or whatever.
Covert Ops.
Covert Ops. The one that Covert game we did was a game where I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. And then I was like, oh boy, this is actually pretty good. Yeah. But I don't know if there's a games I would say probably Chaos would be one where I was out where we went into it. I was like, this is gonna suck. And we're going to get screwed. We're going to look like idiots.
Right.
So I would say that would be the one that comes to mind instantly. But I'm sure I could come up with some better examples if I had time to think about it.
Chris Folds asks, what do you wish you had known when you started the podcast?
You got anything on that?
I read over these questions before we started, and I was thinking, I spent a lot of time thinking about this. And I really think that I wish that I'd known more. Actually, yeah, this is an easy question. I wish that I'd known more about how audio production works and how to get good sound without spending a lot of money and going through 18 million different mic setups.
And we should have never tried to green screen at your pad either.
No. Yeah.
Just because of where you had it.
Right.
I've learned that the hard way when you're trying to bring it up. You know, here's the thing about this question. Anything we would have known. You've got to understand that when we started the pod, come in? Okay, hold on. Hold on, someone's at my fence.
Going half of a big pizza.
Hey, we're streaming live all over the world, Dad.
Well, they like to have a big pizza.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank
Sorry
you.
about-
How'd you
sorry
know we
about-
were here?
Cars. Are you on television?
Yeah, right there.
You're doing good.
You want to say hi to everybody?
No, just eat your pizza.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Pizza break. We'll save this for
Oh,
later.
yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, a podcast. How funny. So when we started the podcast, we had we didn't know we didn't know we were even starting a podcast. Really, I don't know if we knew what we were doing.
Yeah. In a way, it was good that we didn't know anything, because I feel like if I would have gone into it knowing the way that I view the podcast landscape today, I would have probably not even bothered. Well, you know, I knew from Shane's show and I, of course, was listening to some podcasts. Oh yeah, I was a huge podcast guy. I had a podcast before we started doing the podcast.
Well, I wasn't a huge podcast guy, but because there wasn't enough stuff that I enjoyed. There's a lot more now. But I don't think I've learned anything, and I don't think I do anything differently because we don't know what we're doing. I mean, every day. Now, are we better at like OBS or better with microphones? We were, yeah. And Boat's always been the king dong. He's good at getting, getting Discord going and getting all that stuff going.
I think that's probably what I would have done from the get go. One of the things is like Slack and Discord just didn't exist.
Yeah.
But I would have done more to cultivate a community early on, because I think that's the part of the show that I love the most, and if we could have gotten those people involved earlier on, to do more to participate, and we sort of did that even early on. We did those interviews with like Paul Shaw and all those guys, but really just trying to make a place for people to be. But again, the rise of Discord sort of came along at the right time, because that's a tool that is so much better than your average forum. The instant action of Discord is something that's really cool.
I probably, if I was going to, when we originally started doing the show, actually it didn't occur to me until about 50 episodes in. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, 50 episodes in, it's still a good ways in, a year in, mm-hmm. Right? I thought to myself, we never really sat down and said, okay, here's our format. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. I mean, and the thing is, we've tried to do that. And I think we're probably more formatted now than we've ever been. Mm-hmm. But we've got a bad habit of, especially back in those days, we got to a point where we got so comfortable doing the show that we just didn't care about it, which was not good, mm-hmm. I don't think. But maybe it was, I don't know. And probably I would say, get a format early on. I mean, if you look at I listen to a show like Pixelgate, mm-hmm. Right? It's a show I listen to now, it's a newer show, right? Those guys had a format right out of the gate, mm-hmm. and they had all their little segments, and they've got little theme songs for them and all that stuff, which we never did any of this. I mean, you've had, Amiga News,
right?
Or something
I made
like that.
bumpers and stuff,
and then we never used them, and I didn't miss them. It's
right.
a sad thing.
Right.
So I don't know what that
well,
means.
What it means is, there were, whenever you start something like this, you realize what your podcast is and what it is not. And what our podcast is totally conversational. We're just two guys talking about games.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, I listen to. Really, podcasts are one thing, but most of what I watch is YouTube videos, mm-hmm. right? And we are not Retro Man Cave or LGR. Yeah. Those people are so far beyond us that I can't understand how they could possibly do what they do. I have no idea what mm-hmm. they, And we've dipped our toe in the pool, But you can see expert, you see Neil do a computer tear down and cleaning, and then you see me do one, which involves me sitting in front of a computer for an hour and a half playing mod files and just looking like a jackass, because there's a talent gap there.
Right.
All right. But when it comes to talking for hours on end for no good reason, that we can do, mm-hmm. because I guess that's why we went into podcasts and not in videos. But that doesn't stop us from making videos.
No.
Hell, we'll do that too.
No. And the thing is, and the reason why I think that this show has lasted, where so many other podcasts have fallen by the wayside, is that we're doing something that we would do normally for fun anyway,
Yeah.
We got together and talked about games long before we had the podcast.
I was sitting there, when I was playing Amstrad Donkey Kong the other day, I was thinking to myself, it was right after we finished the show Friday, mm-hmm. and I was like, no one would believe that after I did that, that I would sit down and play Amstrad Donkey Kong, but because that's what I do.
Right, right. Chris has a question about grilling. He says,
okay.
Do you clean your grill after each use, or do you believe that the remains of barbecues past add to the flavor?
I don't clean my grill after each use. I know Boat has a hard, he's fully against this. In fact, Boat got so mad kept that one time he came over and cleaned my grill after he'd used it like a goof. I grilled out 2 nights ago, and I have not cleaned the grill. There's still ash in there, and one reason was it was just too hot to do it that night. You had to wait a while.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
It rained yesterday, so I haven't cleaned it yet. But I generally try to keep it fairly clean, and I've got a cover, thankfully, that goes over it, so the outside of it's preserved quite nicely. Unlike Boat, I always use foil on the grill, which that helps preserve the actual grill section, to a certain degree. But I'm not a huge grill guy. And I've only done it just a few times this year. Just why not? I had leftover charcoal, You grill out a lot more than I do.
I do.
think.
I grill out a lot more, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've got a gas grill. Because the charcoal grill, it's a lot more involved in getting it going.
I've picked up the secret. I have.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do it perfect, though, I mean, it still takes longer
Well,
for it to heat
what
up.
what I start doing is, if I'm going to grill out for like a lunch or a dinner,
Right.
I start the charcoal going. It's about 4 hours
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh yeah, you got to
And
plan ahead.
and the thing is, I learned that once you get that grill going, you just leave. I just shut the thing up and I go out and do my work,
Sure.
and then when I come back, all of a sudden you're good to go.
Right.
Then you lay the food down, you're ready.
Yeah.
If you come out like, and I can do it the other way too, and come out and just get the grill going and you can get the food on there quick. But that's a lot more work. You're getting the lighter fluid on there, and you're trying to get the thing hot enough to where your food's, you get it grilled up. I'm lucky this grill's really good. I can lower and raise the grill surface. That helps a lot. But yeah, with gas, I don't like the way gas makes the food taste. I've never been a big fan of gas. I can tell a difference.
Okay.
And also,
Okay.
that Max Lake charcoal, I can't tell the difference. I don't like the way the food
Okay.
tastes.
I'm not
Can
gonna-
you-
I'm-
but can you tell the difference?
Propane is a colorless, odorless gas
Uh-huh.
when it burns completely clean.
I can
So
tell the
if
difference, though.
I'm not. This is like one of these like.
This is like the vinyl thing.
This is like the
but
vinyl.
so you
thing.
can't. I mean, I thought everyone could. You can't tell the difference.
If you cook with charcoal, your food is definitely going to taste like it was cooked on charcoal.
Yeah.
It's going to taste smoky. But food cooked on propane isn't going to taste like gas. It's
Maybe
not gonna taste like
maybe that's
propane.
what maybe the taste of propane is no taste.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, all things being equal, I would rather have charcoal grilled food, but I like being able to just walk out, hit the ignition button, throw food on there, and go.
You will agree with me that the Max Light, the charcoal with the lighter stuff built in, makes the food taste weird.
You know, I haven't had enough Match-like charcoal food to tell, but I could see that.
Because me, I'm the guy that's a path of least resistance, and I'm like, oh, Max Light, we'll use it. And every time I get it, I regret it.
It's
I'm like,
not
okay,
good, yeah.
and so I will go the extra mile and not use it. Yeah. Now we're still going on these, huh?
We got a couple more, just a couple more. Frodo asks, if you were able to completely erase one computer or console from history, which one would it be? I know this without a doubt.
What do you got?
The Amiga 500.
The 5?
The 5.
Why the 5?
I would take that out completely, and I would say, okay, you want to upgrade from your 1000? Here's a 2000, and I would make the 2000 what I would actually, you know what I would have done?
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm still dropping the 500. The 500, it's the worst. It's the dirt worst.
It's because the RF out is what you don't like.
It's the RF out. It's the fact that it didn't come with enough RAM right out of the box to do anything. You know, the first edition 500, not the 500 plus.
The 1000 had less RAM than that.
Well, yeah, because the 1000 was the first machine.
Well, I'm just saying. But go ahead, I'm listening.
I would have put out something akin to the 600, and I would have put out either the 2000 or the 3000. You know, so you have. I'm a big proponent, and this is, I don't agree with a lot of the things that Steve Jobs did when he came back to Apple, but the thing that I agree with him most was that he said, okay, we're not going to have 16 million different types of computer anymore. We're going to have 2 laptops and 2 desktops. We'll have a Pro model laptop and a regular laptop. Same thing with the desktops. That's what the Amiga should have done. Here's your big box Amiga. Here's your mini Amiga. The mini Amiga doesn't have, the only thing that the mini Amiga doesn't have is the expansion capabilities of the big box Amiga. That's what you get with the big box Amiga. Make the choice easy for the consumer, and the consumer will reward you.
Well, the problem is, if you take the 500 out of that mix, there is no low-end consumer model.
No, you replace it with the 600.
The 600 didn't come. The technology in that's is much older than the so it wouldn't have. You couldn't just fit it in there. It was years ahead of the 500.
Well, it came out years ahead. It wasn't technology. It wasn't
it had like
technology wise.
It had PCMCIA slot.
Take
it had
that
the
out.
IDE.
That was useless.
Not at the time. At the time, those were.
Listen, you were trashing the PCI.
But there's something.
This is why we can't have talk. No,
there was something.
I am. Again, we're talking about time travel. So from the get-go, this is ridiculous.
You're not wrong. But I mean, if we're going to do that, let's just say let's put the 1200 where the 500 was, and it'd be, if we have the ability to bend time.
I prefer the 600 to the 1200. That's
well, the 1200's got it obviously has more advantages than the 6. The 020 is worth it, the difference right there.
I guess if you played that 1% of the games that benefit.
Oh, no, there's way more than that.
I guarantee you,
there is way more than that.
I guarantee you, no more.
You load up Wing Commander on the 600 and come at me with a smile on your face.
You load up the Wing Commander on the 1200 and come at me with a smile on your
runs
face.
okay.
Yeah, it runs okay.
So I'll have to ponder this for a bit, because the first thing that came to my mind Well, I'll tell you, if it wasn't limited to consoles or computers, the first thing I would do was get rid of whatever, like the original. What was that? What was the original music player that Apple had that everybody whipped gaga over? That was the
iPod.
Yeah, I'd get rid of that.
How could you not remember the name of the iPod?
I can't, because I'm not an Apple guy. But whatever would cause Apple to not run everything, I would get rid of that. That would be great. But I can't do that. So the second thing that came to my mind was the Coleco Atom. Because it ruined Coleco.
That's true.
Coleco,
that's a good choice.
The ColecoVision was a competent console that played great games, and so when you released that Atom, it not only killed the whole line of the ColecoVision, it killed the whole company. Dead. So that one comes to mind as one I would like to see, because I like Coleco.
I bow down to that answer.
Well,
that is the best answer.
but I mean,
to the question.
I thought about it. I'm like, listen, you could say the same thing about the Aquarius,
Yeah, but
which was garbage. But I mean, I don't think
Mattel
it's
wasn't exactly riding high at the time.
That's right. And really, the thing is, even without the Atom, Coleco may have went down strictly on the basis of the fall. Okay. So in terms of just, if we focus strictly on the Amiga, I agree with you to a certain degree. The 500 was a hassle. There are plenty of things. But I mean, it was their biggest seller. So to get rid of the biggest selling Amiga, even just because you don't like it, I feel like that's. I mean, I understand why you don't like it, because it's 2020 and it's a pain in our butts to try to use it. We struggled with it mightily, but I can't comfortably get rid of that one.
Well, that's fine.
I don't think there's any I don't think there's any computer in the Amiga line you get rid of it to save the company. I don't think there's anything.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'm going to probably go ahead and say, just because I'm a selfish man, I will say the Coleco Atom. But I don't know if that saves Coleco or not. But it doesn't hurt. That's for darn sure.
All right, Paul. We got two more questions.
Okay.
Paul, aka Hermsky, writes, please talk us through how much time, preparation, post-show tech, and research that goes into each of your shows.
Well, I can tell you my side of it.
Okay.
And I've always, Boat has been the man on the other shows when it comes to the production and of course the rigging, getting everything ready, because we've taped from his place, and I do ARG, and I've done ARG since he left, which was episode 14 or something like that.
Oh no, we did much more.
Did we do more than that?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what number we're on now, 112 or something. So, but a given week, let's just say it's a normal week before we lost these shows, we would find out the games. Normally we'd find them out. I usually would find them out when Boat told me on the show. Now, I may have had the ability to find out what they were before that, but I usually don't look, because it spoils it for me. And then I will probably start looking into the games on Monday. Usually the weekend, because I've got to do ARG on Sunday, and Saturday I usually run around with my buddies or something when I can. So I don't use, and then I'll just try to get the games in whenever I can during the week, and then I do all the research when I can on breaks and stuff at work, so I go through and research. And Boat, it's not like Boat doesn't do any research; he researches them too. Now we both research the games. I don't know. Boat has different methodology when he comes to the way he does that stuff. But I'll go through and write down. I have a bunch of notes that I have to print out. Always more than I ever use. But you never know. I've gotten caught my pants down. I'm like, man, I didn't have enough information on this game. I look like a jerk. So I'm super paranoid about it. And I've got a structure. I keep all my stuff on Google Notes or Google Docs so I can get access to it. And then when it's time to record, normally when we go to Boats, I'll come in, and Boat will generally just be chilling. He'll just got home from work or whatever. We go down there and put the chairs in front of the desk and stuff, and then in front of the wall, and then Boat will rig up whatever cameras and stuff. Every once in a while he'll be ready to go, or even sometimes if I'm late, he'll already be going. And then once the show's over, I head home. I've got to rush home because my kid is waiting, and I'm waiting for dinner. Now because I've got a lot of parental responsibilities that I take care of during the week, so I'm always in a hurry. And that's when Boat really has to kick it in. He's got to do any editing on the shows, which hopefully we don't have.
The only time we ever do editing is when either of us says something real dumb.
Yeah, well, it has to be epically done, or we have a big throwdown on the show or something, And or I mean, there's been technical issues.
Yeah.
you know.
Sometimes you have to stitch things together.
But normally, and ARG's the same way. I don't normally have to edit it, but then we have to start uploading the shows to YouTube, which that's no problem. But then the real annoying or hard part of it is you have to strip out the audio and send the audio up to all. And Boat does all this for all the shows except for ARG. You have to strip all the audio out. I mean, when I say that, I mean pull the audio out, make MP3s of it, and then send those up to all the various feeds we've got. Which since we went to Anchor, God, it's how many do you have? It's like 5 or 6 feeds.
Yeah.
And then because each show has its own feed, plus there's a combined feed. And so,
and then
there's some commercial-free feeds.
Yeah, the Patreon feeds and for the commercial-free for the supporters.
So that's like 3, 6. That's almost it's like 8.
And the thing is it's not like you're just putting the shows. You can't. It's not like YouTube where you just like put the files in there and then they upload and it's good. Like they've got to upload and then they've got to process. And while you're doing that, you can't do anything else because of the way the Anchor backend is no good. However, the Anchor backend is the only way that we can actually make money from the podcast other than Patreon, so we have to use it.
Yeah.
But
and once it's up there, it's great.
Yeah.
But you have to manually split the episode.
Right.
Then you have to manually insert the ads. Then you have to fill out all the flavor text for the episode, upload a picture or whatever. Now, Bo doesn't do this, but me and Brent will also, and Bo did this for years, and he still does it. I mean, he does the main thumbnail.
I still do it for Amigos.
Yeah. So you have to make all the art, and I don't know about you, but I also have to. I can't tell you how many times. In fact, I was doing it today. Is fabricating logos and stuff because a lot of these games don't have logos, or you have to, like for example, our show, Nintendo games, the NES games, the 85. There's no logo. I can't just go steal one. I've got to go make one. That doesn't look. I try to make one that looks like double butt. So there's also a time when you're fabricating graphics and
that
logos.
was really, again, going back to why I left ARG. I had really gone off the deep end. If you look at those early thumbnails from ARG, the first 10 episodes or so, I spent 15 times as much time making those thumbnails.
You were like Brent
so
is,
dumb.
and Brent sort of took over the thumbnails in ARG now, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
Because I can never do anything that good. Brent does like professional graphics and stuff. He's a professional. But so that's the kind of stuff no one even thinks about. So and we are the video section of our show makes zero money. Makes no money. So I don't know. Often I'm sitting there trying to erase tiny little black dots, and I'm like, what in God's name? Like I worked on last week's episode of ARG for hours because ARG goes together totally differently than Boat does, and I completely do all the production before we do the show, and then I produce it live. And so I've got everything in place, and I'll sit there for hours tweaking little things, and I'm like, what am I doing? I got like 100 views or something like that. What am I doing this for?
That's 5 cents in ad money, man.
It's funny. I look at how things make money. Like I look at your Donkey Kong video, which is one of our top videos, and it's made like less than $1 or something like that. Then I look at video like my Coin Ops video, and somehow it's made a couple bucks, and I'm like, what in God's name? What is happening? I don't know what's happening with YouTube, and you can't figure it out.
You can't figure it out.
But when you're doing it, if you're doing this stuff on the level of a Kim or a Neil over at Retro Man Cave, those guys they have big crowds of people watching their shows, and they should. They're great. We are doing it I don't know why. I really don't. Just because it's fun. I like producing the shows. It's fun. It sounds like I'm complaining about it, but I mean, I worked last night to get our show ready for tomorrow, and I enjoyed it, getting clips and playing the game. And now it's a lot easier for me to get the game footage, and so it's fun. But it can also be it's dependent if you've got the time. It can be a monumental task, and so on both sides. This isn't counting all the time that Boat had to do stuff like I don't know, like send out Twitter messages and do all that sort of social media stuff, which we don't.
I sort of quit doing that because again, it's sort of ROI. It's what's your return if you spend a ton of time going to Atari Age and Twitter and Facebook and posting all these things. First of all, for some people, you're just annoying them because you're spamming.
Yeah.
And for other people, they already know about the show. So, I've sort of, but again, if you're doing it full time like Neil or Kim, you've got to do that because it's your livelihood.
Even Doug, I think Doug was even in the chat. I see Doug's name everywhere. Like this dude is on top of it.
Right.
And he's got a growing video show, and which is a great show, and Doug does a lot of. I mean, those shows just don't come. They have to do a lot of investigation. Doug is sitting there. I can just picture Doug in his little Doug cave, and he's got all this action going. And he's doing stuff with the video signals and stuff. It's complicated. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff to make like a 35-minute video. So and Doug's great at it. We are not by any stretch of the imagination. We never even fancied ourselves. In fact, when we went to video, I was stunned. I remember when I walked in and you had a camera. I'm like, what the hell is that, Bo?
I had the camera and the
we're
green
going to be on
screen.
YouTube. I'm like,
trouble,
we
yeah.
are? What the hell are you talking about? And so we just naturally, but we enjoy. I enjoy the live streaming. I enjoy looking at the finished product, and it's creative. I'm not a creative guy, but it's sort of like a creative outlet.
Oh, sure, absolutely. That's why I love doing the show.
But in terms of the amount of stuff that Bo was doing per week after the shows were done was a lot.
We would finish. We usually when we start at. If we do a 2 or a 3 show, which for a long time we do 3 shows every week because we do Insert Disc 2.
So I couldn't figure out why you kept adding shows.
Yeah. You would roll in at 5. We'd be done just before 8, and I would finish everything at about 11:45 on Friday night.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with his new job, I mean, and we knew if he got this job, things got to change because. Aside from the Friday night, that's completely gone. It's just all the prep work of playing the games, and we could not have done another show. I couldn't. There's no way I could have handled doing another, it's like a Amstrad show or something. And really, when you added the Atari show, of course you didn't tell me you were doing it. That was a shoot. When I walked in, he said he just started the show. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought he's out of his damn mind for starting another show. You were,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't get to get too far into the Atari show, and I loved it. We both love the Atari. And
I love all the computers.
That's our problem. We love all this stuff.
Yeah, the problem is that I get real into a computer, and I want to talk about it, and so I'm like, well, why don't I just make another show?
Yeah.
And so really what we should do is whenever we play a game we like, we should just talk about it, and not even do, and we can just talk about it, hey, this game's awesome. Yeah, it's great. And then we're done. We don't have to start another show.
No, shut up. But yeah, so I guess... Listen, I don't want to sound like a bellyache or complain about all the time I wasted or whatever. We actually, it's fun, and I don't know, but I can't. Listen, this is not unlike say like LGR or like that's his job. This is his job, so this is what he does for a living. I don't know how much joy. I often wonder how much joy guys like that get out of what they're doing anymore because it's their job.
Right.
Like they have to do it.
Right. Like if they can't take a week off. Just
we never scratch that atmosphere.
No.
And like Bo said, most people by now know who we are. I mean, if they wanted to, if you're an Amiga, I'm not saying like, look, we're everywhere. But I mean, if you're into the Amiga and you want to hear a couple dipsticks in West Virginia talk about it, we're here. And so you've probably either listened to us and we don't like us, or you caught us and you got sick of us, or you're still here.
Right.
I don't know how many more fans there are to attract. We just hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a pretty good. And it's we hit it early. This is the earliest we've hit it. We usually every year we add 1,000 people, so it's gratifying to have people, that many people subscribe to the channel and stuff. But I mean, we're not going out. I'm not going to go out and hunt and dig and scratch for people. If they can check us out, and that's cool if they're into it. And if they're not, I can understand.
And that's the big reason why we do the video is just because it's the number one way to attract new people because YouTube is it's where everybody goes.
And Bo was right. Getting kicked off YouTube streaming was great. I was so pissed off when it happened, but Twitch streaming is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Twitch is a lot more liberal about. They're not going to give you as much crap as YouTube.
And we've gotten a lot of new people too through Twitch, so we're happy about that.
Yeah. So, and I'm even slowly ascertaining what's happening. It took a while.
Final question, Aaron.
Oh, that wasn't it, huh?
No,
Okay.
Comes from Kate Fox.
Oh yes, Kate, the Macintosh librarian.
That's right.
Yes.
Since we live in the land of moonshine, do you have any personal moonshine experience, either manufacturing or tasting?
Manufacturing, I would blow myself up. A lot of people don't realize the amount of danger involved in making moonshine.
Yeah.
I mean, many people have been killed. Many have been killed. It's a lot like making meth.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of ways, you can blow yourself up or catch yourself on fire. But yes, I've had moonshine many times. It's no joke. It's legit. People in the hills I don't know about now. When I was a kid and when I was a young man, people would bring it to work or bring it over to the house or whatever. I haven't had any legitimate moonshine for quite a while. I don't have anyone that I know that's currently getting it, you know, but that's not, you know, people are like, oh, it's like half of them, a quarter. That's real, it's legit, and there are still people making it. Listen, I work for Breath Alcohol in Kentucky, and you would think a place like Kentucky, home of bourbon, the sweetest, the brownest of brown, sweet Kentucky bourbon, you'd think there'd be people swimming in it. Well, there are plenty of dry counties. And up until last year, I don't know if it still is, but Bourbon County in Kentucky was dry.
Really? And
it was Bourbon County.
Wow.
You know, so there are still places out there where you can't readily get stuff, and they go out and make it and distill. Now you could get, a couple years ago, Matt and Chad came over to the house, and they brought these
jars.
Mason jars. He's like, look, we got some moonshine. We were Gatlinburg. I'm like, oh yeah, let me have some of this moonshine. I drank this stuff. This is moonshine, like the soda pop over here.
Right.
This stuff is weak.
Yeah.
Because moonshine, it may come in a mason jar, but you don't fill up a cup and just go to work. This stuff is
pure green alcohol.
It will blind you if it's not made correctly.
Right.
It will blind you. And corn alcohol is the normal. That's the one I've had the most. They can make other stuff, but that's the.
You can make people make liquor out of anything.
But I've had it a bunch of times. And it is, it's so hard to listen. I've got an ironclad palate, you know me, but it's so hard to drink that it takes a delicate. It takes someone that is very tough, internally tough. I wouldn't recommend it. What about you?
I've never had the real stuff.
Really?
Never.
Have you ever been around it?
No. Of course, I don't have. My parents all came here from other places, so we don't really have connections in the hills. But I've had, I guess the closest I've ever drank is Everclear, because that stuff is pretty strong.
If you're going to find an equivalency, like a grain, like just grain or Everclear, but I mean, even if you took and turned that up, I got a buddy that would take swigs of that and shoot fireballs, right? You know that stick.
Oh yeah, Animal House.
And he did. It was cool. I'll never forget one time at my backyard party when I was having it in Lakes, and he was doing that. He asked his wife, he goes, quick, get me a cup of water, I'm dying. She went and got him, and she was drunk off her butt too, and she went and got him a cup, and he drank it, and she'd given him another cup because it's clear. And he about died. He was like, oh, because he'd take a big old swig of this thinking it was water, But that's as close as you can get. But the thing is, corn whiskey has a real unusual, there is a taste, but you have to get through the pain to get to the taste, and it is a kind of corny taste in a weird way, but it's super duper potent. I mean, and we've talked with our buddies. Remember those parties we saw where like Amiga Bill would go over to like Poland or whatever.
Right.
They were pulling that chick out of the fridge, and it was like homemade this, homemade that. And I thought to myself, and I can only equate it to what I had moonshine wise. And I don't know, either that stuff just wasn't as strong as moonshine, or these were the toughest men on earth. Because if it's as strong as moonshine, and those dudes in Poland were just killing this stuff, I mean, they were just killing it. Yeah. You would literally be killed if you tried that with moonshine.
Right.
You'd die.
Right.
You'd be very careful.
Well, that's going to draw this episode of Ask the Amigos to a close.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for joining us, everybody in the chat. I guess we can see who is with us.
I've got my phone right here, but I haven't really looked at it that much.
Got 24 people in the chat.
Oh yeah, gosh. Got a good crowd in
Man,
here.
it's real hard.
I can tell you who's in here.
All right, tell
we
me.
got Wishbone, Picard, make it so, Tiplo, if I made it, Doug, the 10-minute Amiga Retrocast is in town. We've got Christian Russell. We've got Super Cruiser 5000. Bark a Bit, the Bark a Bit is in. We've got Wing Chun Wolf, Bike Me, Pixels at Dawn, of course, the ever-present Jan Holbrook, Ella Curtis Boyle. El Curtis Boyle just got off a marathon Coco Talk. I was watching some of that earlier, so he's doing double duty today. Edvin was here. Ricky DeRocher, gosh, all of our favorites. The Dunk was in town. Hermsky was in. So we had a good crowd. Mitsuyama was here. Midgard 73. Hermski, Frodo and L was here. Brock 101. Gosh, can you believe this boat? There's a ton. I was surprised. I didn't think if this many people would show up and sit here and listen to us. So a good crowd. I think that's the long and short of it. I'm sure I'm not going back too much further. Tons of people. Thanks for picking us up.
Yeah.
Today. We're going to cut this thing off and go eat cold pizza, boat. I think. Sounds like that's the way we do it in home state.
Yeah, we do.
You guys have a good evening, and hey, maybe I'll be back on with some laser discussion later.
All right. See you guys.
Adios.